What is up, Lions YouTubers, One Pride, everybody in the chat? Welcome to tonight's DSA Roundtable. I'm super excited to be hosting again. It's been a minute since I have been able to be on one of these shows because life is crazy. So I'm really excited. We got some good questions for you guys tonight. And let's go ahead and get to it. I'll introduce the panel for tonight, starting with one half of Real Detroit Lions fans. We've got Andrew. What's up, Andrew?
Hey, what's going on? Long time no see.
For sure. And we've also got the man himself, Luke G. What's up, Luke?
Hey, so Luke, don't say life happens. Say great things in life happen. You got some great things going on. I would love to share it with the world, but instead of doing it, just know that she living her best life and growing. That is progress. So congratulations to you again on everything that's going on with you. Let's talk on football. I'm ready.
Awesome. Thank you, Luke. That's true. Very true. And last but certainly not least, we have got the heart of the city, 313 JMO. What's up, JMO?
What's good, man? Rachel, I'm happy to be on your channel talking once again. Shout out to everybody in the chat. You say life is crazy. Well, the Lions are crazier. I'm excited for an exciting show, man, because we got a lot of good stuff for you guys.
Absolutely. And like I said, I am busy, so we're going to try to keep a time limit on this. We got a lot of good questions though, so let's just go ahead and hop into them. We are going to start with one of the questions that I thought was just so simple, but we know it's on everybody's mind coming into the bye week, and that is, why hasn't Matt Patricia been fired yet? I'm going to throw that over to you first, Andrew.
Man, you can hear Luke literally.
I'm surprised you used it
first. For me, it's pretty simple. I don't see Bob Quinn growing a pair and firing Matt Patricia, and I also don't see Sheila firing him. It's such a typical thing that we've done, in Detroit Lions history to keep coaches longer than we should. So to me, it's that simple.
Okay. Short and sweet. I feel that answer. And, you are right. History does seem to repeat itself. But what do you think, JMO? Why has Matt Patricia not been fired yet?
The reason I brought up this question, because I feel like it's as simple as this: incompetence. Our organization is just showing once again how idiotic and stupid they are. Like, they're going to wait maybe till the end of the season to fire this dude and just sacrifice the whole season, sacrifice all the players, just not care about competing at all, and just continue to lose just because they're idiots. They always take forever to fire people. And I want Lions fans to know, the longer this dude isn't fired, the worse you should feel about our organization in the future. Because if they can't fire a terrible coach, y'all so confident they can go out and get the right guy. Wow. That's hilarious, man. Ooh, I tried to compartmentalize that, but I couldn't. Anyway, but like I said, it shows the incompetence of this organization. It actually, makes me a little bit upset. I mean, you can give me all these reasons why he shouldn't be fired. End of the day, he should be fired. Like, I don't care what you have to say. He should be fired regardless. And the longer they take, it's just like, how much do you really? They say they care about the fans and the fan base and all of this. Well, when fans cry out for coaches to be fired, they usually answer. So he should have been fired. Y'all, we wanted Jim Caldwell and Jim Schwartz fired. We got him fired. Why he's still here? Like, incompetence is my only thing that I can think of, because another organization would have been fired this guy.
All right. Yeah. I mean, I hear you on that. And obviously, everybody has been calling for his head pretty much since week one. We're a little bit further into the season now. I'm going to save my answer for last because it's somewhat of a conspiracy theory. But what do you think, Luke?
There's no benefit to firing him now. Like, I don't understand this. The fans always do the same stuff every single year. They cry out, they scream, I want this, I want that. We get it. I don't want this. Get rid of it. No. It's easy for you to say what you will and won't do when you're not cutting the check. But the reality is there's no benefit to firing him right now. There certainly is a benefit to firing Bob Quinn. You can always go out and hire another general manager right now. You can't go and get another head coach. What are you going to do? Fire him and then what?
You know, the benefit is winning games. Like maybe we'll win a divisional. Maybe we'll win a divisional game for the first time in 6 years. That's how long it feel like.
Maybe we will. like maybe we will. Maybe we will. And then maybe after we would do that, we are stuck with Darrell Bevel and whatever else is left here. The goal is to give the next head coach, whoever that is, a clean canvas. You can't do that if you're just going to ride off into the sunset with this other person. And to me, there just isn't any real benefit to firing him right now, unless there was a head coach right now that you could sign right now to start the process. And right now, there is none.
Hey, Luke, I feel like a big benefit is making the fans happy, man.
I mean,
because like if we start losing, nobody gonna be upset. We'll be like, it's all good. Like nobody. I mean, we'll be mad that we lost, but we won't be. Oh my God, you guys lost, so we're gonna kill you. We won't be like that because Patricia would be gone. We'd be like, well, Darrell Bevel, he's just the interim guy. We looking towards the future. Like that's how the Lions fans are gonna be, and I do think we win more games without Patricia. I really do.
Yeah, but the problem is this. Yeah, this is it's a business as much as it is a sport. And at the end of the day, you can, if you wanted him fired, you should have had that same energy after the second season. You should have had that same energy after the first season. You have people, even to this day, still defending him. You got people defending him. Excuse me, after the second season, and hell, I even said that we should have followed suit on what the Cardinals did, fire him immediately because he was never qualified to take this position and he was trash. And I took the word of BS of crap and stuff. Like, no, you crazy, you can't do that. Hell, even Andrew. Now look at Andrew. He's full-fledged fire him at the 4 games. At this point, there is no benefit. There's no point of changing course. The car has not crashed yet.
What do you mean the car hasn't crashed yet? Did you see the first game? Like, what do you mean?
Listen, what I mean by the car hasn't crashed yet, meaning that go back, you got to look at the seasons with the Lions. Every time we get major change, the car crashes. When Matt Millen got fired we screened for years to get rid of Matt Millen, it took a 0-16 season for it to happen. It's going to take for him to have a debacle of a third season to justify their firing in their eyes. And that's what I'm saying. It hasn't crashed yet.
Okay. Well, so hear me out. I was thinking about this after I read this question today. I mean, it's clearly a question that's been on everybody's mind, and I'm thinking, and I'm like, what if Sheila is basically waiting? Okay, so bye week is where you would figure she would do it, right? Like, but what if she's thinking that's a little bit too predictable? And she's looking at the schedule and she sees the Jaguars and the Falcons back to back. Now, if I'm Sheila and I'm in this position too, I think I've kind of already made up my mind. I think he's gotta go. I mean, I just don't see any way around it at this point. And maybe she is waiting to the end of the season and this is way too much of a conspiracy theory. But if I'm her, I'm looking at the Jaguars and the Falcons up next on the schedule. And these might be literally the 2 most winnable games left on the roster. So she goes in, and if they lose to the Jags, I think she fires him right away because now she's like, oh, okay, well, we just lost to the Jaguars, and the Jaguars are like the Lions of the South, and, we all know that, so goodbye, and now everybody celebrates, and Detroit is happy, and they're like, thank you, Sheila, and she looks so good, right? But then...
I think you right. Listen, keep going. You driving, you steering this thing down a beautiful lane. Keep going now. Don't stop now.
The part is we're not gonna lose to the Jaguars.
No. Damn that. Keep going.
But see, that's the thing.
She's gonna get to there.
So then you go into that. If we don't lose to the Jaguars, the fans are kind of like, some of them are going to be like, man, winning just feels so good. So I'm not going to complain as much this week, but also we still hate Patricia. So still fire him. And we're still on that boat, but we're like, we're not going as hard on it. Then we go play the Falcons. If we lose there, she fires Patricia, same reaction, because they're like the second Lions of the South now. And everybody's like, oh my God, Sheila, you are the best. So I think what she's kind of banking on here is that we lose to a really, really, really bad team, and then she gets to look like a hero. And if not, she's just riding the train until that's the case. That's my conspiracy theory.
Listen. Where's the applause sound effect when you need one? Yes, people. Y'all don't understand. As much as listen, she literally told you that to get in her vehicle and she's going to get you to the promised land. Listen, it does not make sense, especially when most fans already think there's an easy schedule coming up. They already think that. So what are you trying to get rid of him for? 1-3, he's still not mathematically eliminated from the playoffs. Not two, and this is from somebody who want him fired after a season. It doesn't make sense. Rachel, you're right. It's simply put, let me see what you do against the worst of the worst. Because right now, you can argue that we lost against the Bears team, who's 4-1. We lost against the Saints, who look like a duck to fire, but still gonna probably end up in a playoff team. Yeah, we beat the Cardinals, but they lost to the damn Panthers, so that win don't even look impressive no more.
Right.
So let's keep it all in perspective. Yeah, the Packers, they run over a lot of people, not just us. So what are they going to do? The bigger acquisition is fire Bob Quinn. Just saying.
Okay. I mean, like I said, it was
him gone because I feel like he's the cause of everything we're going through right now. So
J-Mo, we all agree. But if you heard what Rachel said, it's about creating a perfect circumstance for it to happen. Because at that point,
I'm talking about Bob Quinn. I'm not talking about Patricia.
Yeah, but there's still a lot of people who believe in him. But go ahead, Rachel.
If I'm Sheila,
he got to go.
If I'm Sheila, that's what I'm saying. You're just looking at it also from like a pleasing the fans perspective and how to do that in the most epic fashion. So, and I think especially because we're already dogging her. So that's kind of where I thought of that. But let's go ahead and move on to the next question because it kind of plays off of that first one. Do the Lions really have an easy schedule coming up? And just so you guys know, I have another question here that kind of like ties into that too. The Lions' next 7 opponents have a combined record of 8-20 between them. One of technically the top 5 ranked easiest schedules remaining this season. So do you guys really believe that that's an easy schedule coming up? And does this make you somewhat more optimistic? And I'll throw that to you first, J-Mo.
Well, in all honesty, look, I'll put it like this. If we had an average coach or an above average coach, I would feel pretty confident because those average run-of-the-mill coaches, they beat the weak teams. We saw Jason Garrett do it for years with Dallas. We saw Marvin Lewis do it. We saw Caldwell do it. Like we had Caldwell, I would expect a 7-game winning streak or to go 6-1 in the next 7 games, but we don't. We have who we have. And I do think the schedule is easy if, like I said, you had average to above average coaching. But with Patricia, I don't know of anything easy. We the easy ones on the schedule. Like, like but I expect us to beat the Jaguars and the Falcons. I wouldn't be surprised if we lose to the Jaguars or the Falcons. I wouldn't be surprised. But I expect us to beat them. But like only teams that I think are really gonna be tough through that stretch is Minnesota, because that's a divisional game and we can't stop Dalvin Cook, so that'll be fun. And then the Colts. I think Houston is terrible. And Atlanta and the Jaguars are just as bad as we are. So we should win, but I can't trust this coach. But the schedule is easy. Like if Matt Patricia wanted to show me something, win 7 games in a row like you should. And then I'll be like, all right, like because you should. Like, look at these teams. If this was like, I don't know.
I hear you. I mean, and at least the easy teams, and I think that's the whole point of this is talking about that record of these teams combined going into it. I mean, from where we're standing, they should win these next games. But what do you think, Luke? I mean, do you feel optimistic? Do you think this is actually an easy schedule coming up the stretch?
Listen, there ain't nothing to be optimistic about, people. Listen to me. This is not an easy schedule coming up. All these teams, I can show you something that they did that could justify them having a better opportunity of beating us. Let's start off with the first part. We're on the road against the Jacksonville Jaguars. This Jaguar team did take a nasty L to the Miami, but they also beat some good teams. Okay, the Falcons on the road to the Falcons.
Well, what good teams they beat?
Okay, so let me go back to their schedule. I'm trying to make it quick because I know we're on a time restriction, but you want me to do it.
But they beat the Colts. Oh, the Colts. Okay, wow. All right.
Okay. You say wow, but she asked Luke, is it an easy question? See what I'm saying? She didn't say J-Mo this time. J-Mo went first, man, and Luke was quiet. Okay, all right. I'll just put them out there. They already beat a team that I know we probably won't beat. So here's the thing I'm looking at. On the next 4 games, 3 of them on the road. On the road against Jacksonville. On the road against Atlanta. We come home against the Colts. I have no chance of us beating the Colts. We couldn't stop half the running backs we went against. I know Aaron Jones ain't the fastest, but damn it, Jonathan Taylor is pretty much faster than him. And one thing you're gonna hear Quentin Nelson screaming is run the damn ball. Mark that one down. I'm not feeling confident. Then we on the road against the Vikings. Nothing easy about it. Yes, in the last few meetings that we've played the Washington Redskins, we are 4-1. However, we are struggling. And the time that we lost the game was a game where we didn't have Stafford and Dwayne Haskins sucked, but their defense beat up technically the entire offensive line, and the quarterback had to be Michael Vick to even give us a chance. Then we go down to the Panthers, who beat the Cardinals, who we beat, but they did it without even having Christian McCaffrey, who I think will be back by the time we play them. Then we go and play Houston Texans, who star player has went full-fledged a-hole to get their general manager / head coach fired up out of there. They're motivated. Ain't nothing about this schedule easy. Where's it easy at?
I have to laugh for a second really quick, Luke, because this 14900, that is my good friend Omari. He is, unfortunately for this season and last season, he always has been, but he's a Falcons fan, and he says, you are not losing to the Falcons. LOL. He has been feeling the heartbreak this year for sure. I just had to shout out Omari. He's awesome. He's really good people to watch.
Listen, I know they got a lot going on, but every game they're in it. They've had leads in those games. They've blown leads in those games. I've seen it. The Lions, I promise you, the Lions listen, I put it like this. Let's put the Lions defense versus the Falcons offense. The Falcons offense is gonna score. Now let's flip it. Let's put our offense against their defense. They gonna just sit on the pass because we don't run the ball no damn way. I mean, seriously. This is easy.
Their defense is terrible, and their pass defense is even worse. So they can sit on the pass and get chopped up.
Well, they're missing their starting 4 secondary players.
Very true.
It's terrible.
Very true, Andrew.
And watch how healthy they be by the time we play them. I'm just saying. Watch
how healthy we be. We'll have Joe Dahl and Justin Coleman back.
See, look, J-Mo, you confusing me. I can't do this all at once. One moment you talking about Ken, the guy, we ain't winning without them. He's a lame duck coach. The next minute you hyped up that we gonna beat this same team that's sorry.
I'm just not about to say we gonna lose to the Falcons.
I just don't know. I don't know.
Hyping up the Falcons like they gonna be.
Listen. I'm not hyping. I'm not hyping up the Falcons. What I'm telling you is this: offenses that can score has shown that they can hurt us. The only time that we had a benefit of not having a pass rush was when we went against Kyler Murray. Matt Ryan, you let him have time in that pocket with Julio Jones is going to be healthy. Ridley going to be healthy. It's Todd Gurley, bro. Todd Gurley. They didn't want to tackle Aaron Jones, but they want to tackle Todd Gurley now. I'm not buying.
You hyped up the Cardinals the same way. You told me about how they was going to tear us up and rip us apart. End of the day, we gonna beat the Falcons.
We barely beat the Cardinals. Are you serious right now? We won by a
game though, and they only scored 23 points.
It's true, but Andrew and I actually had a little conversation before you guys were in the lobby. So, specifically about the Falcons, but the schedule in general. Andrew, what do you think coming up the stretch? Is this actually an easy schedule? Do you have any faith in the Lions going up against these teams who are 8-20 so far?
I mean, there's always faith if our offense starts clicking. If our offense starts clicking, I'm like, all right, we have a shot in these games because, our defense can't play any worse, right? Jacksonville, I fully expect to be Jacksonville. Atlanta, I am a very, avid football fan, so I watch a lot of games. Atlanta's offense is filthy. Anyone that thinks Atlanta is not a good team, I'm sorry. They just got riddled with injuries on defense, and their defense is literally allowing like 30-plus points a game, so their defense is worse than our defense.
Don't tell them nothing. Don't tell them nothing. Don't tell them nothing. Just let them believe it.
Right. So Julio and Calvin, really, dude, that's probably the best duo in football in terms of wide receivers. Anyways, then you have who's after that? We have like Minnesota. Minnesota's a division game, and those always toss-ups. And then Houston's banged up, but now they're going to have a new head coach. If it was Bill O'Brien, I'm like, damn, we'll probably beat them. But it's not Bill O'Brien now, so you don't know what you're going to get, and you're not going to have much film to look at. So do we have the potential to do really well these next couple games? Yes. Do I think it's going to happen? Probably not, because the teams reversing are getting healthier and their records don't really show how good they are. And then also, I just don't have that much faith in Patricia to call a 60-minute game, so I'm on the fence.
Yeah, I'm on the fence with you there. I definitely think, on paper, yeah, these are easy games, but JMO actually already said what I kind of wanted to say, and to these other teams, we're probably an easy game too. You know that we are going into Jacksonville next week, and the Jaguars are thinking, all right, y'all, I mean, we're at home. We're allowed to have fans. Like, we're going to win because the Lions are an easy game. So you got to think that some of these teams, we may end up beating some of these teams because they're going to come in thinking that we're too easy to beat. Might be what happens on the back end, But I mean, that's kind of my mentality is hopefully they come in sleeping way too hard because they think it's like a second bye week. And I think if some of these teams do that, obviously the Vikings are not going to. And I think injuries with the Falcons, obviously defensively speaking, as long as our offense starts clicking there, that could be a game that we could win. And I fully expect for them to beat the Jaguars because I'm going to be there. And if they don't, they're just going to break my heart. Not that they haven't already been, but in person, it's just a whole different story. So I'm with you, Andrew. Rachel, I'm on the fence.
Rachel, can I say this to you? All right. Now, the idea of sleep, that's the word, sleep, right? The Cardinals slapped on us and barely lost. It took the perfect storm of bad play for us to win. We're not finna, okay, listen. Y'all keep acting like this schedule easy. I remember, I want to say it was the first year Matt Patricia got here, we talking about how easy the schedule was, and we got beat down by the Jets. Then everybody started to realize, like, oh, God, no, why me? Nothing about this is easy. I just want to listen.
It was an easy game. We just suck. That's all it was. Like, year, one of their 3 wins was us. Like, they were terrible.
I'm just saying.
Oh man. Well, I'm just saying if they could beat the Jags while I was there and put a smile on my face that day.
No, they usually always win when I don't remember the last time they've lost in Florida, knock on wood a little bit. But
it's true.
They should win. So
it's true. Literally, I was at Tampa when they won. I was in Miami when they won. I was in Jacksonville the last preseason game they had there. But let's not jinx it. I just knocked on wood because
I definitely
knocked on wood. Like, I'm not playing.
knock on wood. Go find the rainforest. Knock on every tree. The Buccaneers. When we beat the Buccaneers, we were struggling against Jameis Winston. They got Tom Brady now.
That's true. Jacksonville with a last-minute field goal.
I don't think anybody picked us to beat the Buccaneers this year, though.
No, I'm just saying. But when we beat the Jacksonville Jaguars, that was Blake Bortles. They got Gardner Minshew. Like, I'm not having it.
I'm scared of Gardner Minshew. I like him, but I ain't scared of no Gardner Minshew.
We're gonna give Luke a coronary, so we're gonna move on to the next question. So this one I actually like because it kind of takes some of the focus off some of the negatives. It's a hypothetical. You guys, if you had to pick just 5 current Lions players to structure a team rebuild around, because God knows we might be close to that, which 5 players are you picking, and a very brief why? Because I know we could get into that a lot more in depth, but which 5 players are you picking, and a very brief why? I'm going to throw out there that I'm pretty sure we're all already saying with a different coaching staff and probably a different GM. So let's throw that out there first. I'm going to throw this one to you first, Andrew. Which 5 current Lions players are you picking to structure a team around during a rebuild?
Yeah, so I'm going to start with Taylor Decker, Frank Ragnow, Jonah Jackson, DeAndre Swift. And my last one was a little hard, but I think I'm going to go with Danny Shelton. All right, so for me, it's you have the trenches, right? Our 3 best offensive linemen. And DeAndre Swift, I like what I'm seeing out of him. I feel like if you gave him as many touches as Aaron Jones got, as Kamara got, as Christian McCaffrey got, that this dude's going to be at their level. And you have to have a solid offensive line. I don't care how good your defense is. If your offensive line is crap, your team's not going to do well. And I also picked Danny Shelton because before we even started the season, I was like, this is my guy. I was like, I watch this man, and everyone's like, oh, he can stop the run and isn't that. The man can pass rush too. He's bad in balls. He's doing a lot of things, and obviously our defense doesn't really show it. But I feel like if you had those 5 guys, that's a good starting spot.
Okay. I actually overlap you in certain places, so I'm just going to go next. And I almost put Danny Shelton too, which is funny because I read an article today that had some awesome little gifs of him run blocking this past week against the Saints. It may not have really showed up in the score or in the overall defensive performance, but man, I mean, he was double teaming guys. He's definitely legit. But I went with Frank Ragnow, obvious choice, one of the best centers in the league. You're not going to not take him. Plus, he's a veteran presence now on the O-line. I also took Jonah Jackson. I think he's had a really awesome rookie debut. And under Frank Ragnow, he'll continue to grow. His hands aren't even as sloppy as we were worried about when we drafted him. TJ Hopkinson, I'm taking him. He's still so young with such clear talent and potential to become even more George Kittle-like as we continue to move forward. I'm taking DeAndre Swift as well. He's already a young back showing early signs of greatness. I think he's going to continue to develop as such if used correctly and play called to his advantage. And here's the one where you guys are probably going to disagree with me, but I want to stay young. And I just think this is where I was torn on Danny Shelton and him, but I'm gonna take. And you guys are gonna hate me. I'm nervous to say it, but I'm gonna pull Jeff Okudah too because I think that this is a developmental position. I think what we've seen of him so far is disappointing, but I think it's. I want to say it's not obvious disappointment. Sorry for the double negative. I mean, it's kind of what most of us expected. It's not what we wanted. It's not what we thought should be taken at number 3, but I think that if I'm restructuring a team rebuild, I'm keeping these young guys. I'm thinking keeping these players that are going to develop into the type of players that we want for a future. And so, yeah, that's my answer. I'm gonna toss it to you, JMO.
No, you took like every person I had. Like I was gonna put Jeff Okudah in there too because I think he's gonna be a top tier corner. I really think he's gonna be one of the best corners in the league in the future. So I'm definitely putting Jeff Okudah in the list. I definitely think as a building piece, but this is a team that we're not supposed to be building. For the last 3 years, we're not supposed to be building. But Matt Patricia's been so bad that we've been forced to build. But that's another topic. But and then TJ Hopkinson, most definitely. I mean, that dude is a cornerstone piece for any football team. Frank Ragnow, of course. I also, and I'm gonna go with Kenny Galladay. as well. I think for any young quarterback coming into the league, having that receiver, it's great. You see Kyler Murray. You saw when Watson was with D-Hop, the records there was breaking. You see Mahomes with Travis Kelce and them boys. You know, being a young quarterback coming in with weapons like that is good. And DeAndre Swift, I know it feels like a small sample size, but I feel like I know what I saw in that Saints game. And I agree. I think Andrew said this, or Rachel. If you use him right, this dude's going to be special. Like, because he's just a matchup problem, and he can run the football. And the thing about him is, I think earlier in the season, I felt like he might have been a little bit hurt or something, because he's faster now, and he has that burst that I seen him have at Georgia, where like soon as he get the ball, he burst, and like he has breakaway speed. We've seen it. It's just you got to use this guy, but I definitely would want to start a team with him. He catch out the backfield, and I think he definitely can run the football. I hope we use him right, because I think he could be a very good player. But that's what I think. But no, Rachel, I'm with you on Jeff Okudah. I'm definitely using Okudah as a cornerstone piece.
Good. I thought I was gonna get killed for saying that one. And I do want to shout out D Hype, because Penasini was actually one of my honorable mentions as well, for a young guy that I think has shown some potential as well. Saw some awesome footage of him in that same article with Danny Shelton. But what do you think, Luke? Which 5 are you keeping if you're rebuilding this team right now?
David Blau. Yeah, I went there.
Okay.
Bro, I went there. Joking, man. I swear to God.
I'm dead serious. I'm dead serious.
Stop with this.
Listen. The mistake that we keep making is we get somebody at quarterback, and then we turn around and rag them to the dirt, or any other good player into the dirt, with nobody in the background waiting. If you keep David Blau, he's a quarterback that can be your backup. He's not going to ask for no top tier dollar. He's sitting there just collecting his money, waiting and learning to be better at the game. Who else you going to be waiting to groom? You finna draft somebody on top of that? So when you draft that person and they sitting behind Stafford and Stafford League, who's sitting behind him to keep him under like the idea that, look, I got somebody I feel good about if you can't get it done. We got to stop with that. So yes, David Blau. Then we go over to TJ Hopkinson, because of just the things that I heard. Like, he is like a George Kittle, Travis Kelce type tight end. I like what I see out of him. Obviously, I'm not giving up Frank Ragnow, because I believe everything starts up the middle. And then on the defensive side of the ball, Penasini, because I've seen him play in the 4-3. I've seen him play in the 3-4. And I'm very impressed at his come up and his gameplay versus some things the other seen. And the last person that I'm willing to build around is Jared Davis. Yes, the same guy that I keep saying is elite. Yes, the same guy that I keep rooting for and telling y'all, like, listen, stop hating on people who do good things. Yes, those are the 5 people I would build it around. Why? Because it shores up all of the things in the middle of the field. Center the quarterback, short game, tight end plus blocker. Then you got D tackle / D end to inside linebacker. I just want to shore up the middle of the field. As far as I'm concerned, if we did it my way, we would have took somebody with the ability to play safety, because I knew how we used our safeties. But I wanted somebody that no matter what defense we brought out, they could perform in it. And we got the opposite. Okudah, if you want to build around Okudah, you ain't got no choice. He's your first pick, 3rd overall. You got 2 more years for you see his best anyway. So it ain't no choice. You just got to wait for it.
I feel like you can't predict what corners are going to be, but if you knew Slay was going to be as good as he ended up being, like, you could have built around him. It's just like, it takes time. And he says, why not Tracy Walker? That's only just because I picked Okudah, because I think he's going to be a very good corner. I like Tracy Walker too. I'm rolling with Okudah. I think he's going to be a good player in the future.
Listen, ain't no wrong with Tracy. Tracy's playing right now, and he's at least performing. Especially being asked to play outside linebacker inside, but that's another story. All right, we're gonna leave that alone. All right, Rachel, we on the clock. Just get us there.
Let's go. All right, next question. The Lions players have taken the blame for the bad start to the season, going 1-3. Do you guys blame the players or things like coaching the most for sitting where we are? I'll throw that to you first, JMO.
I know people will say something like it's a combination of things, but when I look at that Bears game, and even the Cardinals game from last year, but the Bears game, let's focus on this year. Like, I could blame that on the players if I wanted to, or like Andrew said, maybe I put Tracy Walker on these DBs instead of somebody who can't cover anybody. Maybe I don't play man coverage when I'm on my third string cornerbacks. And I just feel like it was ways that you could have helped your team. And I feel like against the Cardinals, the Lions kind of helped their defense in those ways. But that's the only game that they did it in. And I'm not about to blame the players. The players, of course, they're not going to play. They're playing bad if you're 1-3. It doesn't matter what team you're on. If you're 1-3, most likely the players are playing bad. And you can say they're not making enough plays. End of the day, you got to put people in positions to be successful. Swift and TJ Hopkinson, even though they're having solid seasons, they're not in positions to be successful. Luke screams about Jared Davis. Like, why the hell is Tracy Walker playing outside linebacker? Like, I don't like Jelani Tavai as a pass rusher on the edge. Like, I don't think you should use him that way. I feel like he should be in the middle of the field doing other things. But that's how they want to use him. And I just feel like with the Lions, it's a lot more with the coaching because we got the talent. I feel like this team definitely isn't the most talented in the world, but it has enough talent to compete in the division at least. So I'm not going to blame the players. They just doing that to defend Matt Patricia, I feel.
Okay, so they're out there just to defend Matt Patricia. What do you think, Andrew?
I absolutely think that the coaching is at fault, like 100%. I mean, the coaching is just terrible. Offensively, defensively, it's really bad. I mean, there's no other way to put it. It is very bad. It's predictable. It's stupid. I mean, running RPOs with Stafford, like, I don't know. It baffles me. But also, there is a good amount of blame on the players because they're missing tackles. They're dropping balls. That is not coaching. That is purely do your freaking job, dude. Like, if you wrap up, you're going to get the tackle. If you put your hands in the right spot, you can catch the ball. Like, I don't know. So 90-10. 90-10 for me.
90-10. All right. So Andrew went 90-10. What about you, Luke? I mean, who do you blame more for the coaching or for the 1-3 start? I think we probably know the answer to this question, but give us your breakdown, coaching versus players.
All right, listen. First of all, I had to go outside. I had to check the moon. Anytime I agree with Andrew and J-Mo on the same show, there's something going on.
Wait, bro, you agree? No, I'm shocked.
Listen. Listen. The players do deserve some blame. They do. But I asked this question before. Who brought these players here? This will be different. This will be totally different if this was his first season. This year 3. There's a whole other set of people doing the same stuff that that the other people you kicked out that you claim was doing. So you claim that he had us thinking Quandre Diggs lost a step. His step picked up big time over there in Seattle. Let's be honest. New set of people, same problem. 99.9%, he is the problem, Maury. That's what it is, Maury. He's the problem. That 1% chance, that goes directly on the players. Why? Because sometimes, you can win in spite of, but hell, look at the Dallas Cowboys. Everybody wanted Jason Garrett gone. Well, he gone. Meanwhile, Mike McCartney over there, them fans like, man, we should have never got rid of him. Listen, I'm just pointing out to you that sometimes players can win in spite of, but when you're not even putting them on the field, you're giving people 15 snaps that were taken in the first round. You know what I mean? Like, you're rushing 3 consistently. All I keep hearing is how complex your defense is, and they're underperforming. It goes to you. So, Bob Quinn, shame on you for bringing them in. Shame on you, Matt Patricia, for not being able to coach them up. And all the mistakes that they making. You had a whole hill built and everything. All this goddamn hill running we doing, and they still undisciplined. I think they love the hill. I think they enjoy the hill. They having little picnics and stuff, bringing the family over there and the dog, having walks in the park, proposing to their girlfriend on the hill. It falls on the head coach. And at the end of the day, it ain't nobody else we can look at but him. This is a whole new squad doing a whole new, same old stuff. 3 seasons of this. This was y'all asked for. I saw it season 1, but y'all enjoy this while y'all can.
Players gotta be put in a position to succeed. And I ask you this, Rachel. And this is a random question I literally just thought of. If Mike Zimmer had this group of players defensively, do you think we'll be a good defense?
Man, I think that's a good question. And I mean, kind of to tie it into my answer to this question that we started with, let me pause really quick because we did have Kurt Steele from the Die Hard Den podcast join us. What is up, Kurt? How are you tonight? Maybe not.
Kurt at? Where Kurt at?
Maybe not.
Kurt don't fellas. Kurt don't fellas.
He said he'll be back.
Okay, he'll be back.
Listen, let me put it like this. I'm gonna take it a step further for you, J-Mo. And I know what you're gonna answer. I'm gonna make this really quick, Rich. I know we're on the timeline. We wrote off Kyle Van Noy. He goes to New England, put in the right position that he's supposed to be put in, and is put in the right situation and performs the way he's supposed to perform. That's the proof and putting right there.
Did we lose Luke?
Nope, you didn't lose me.
Okay.
You didn't lose me.
Okay.
Yeah.
It was such a blunt cutoff. I was like, is he done? Okay. Well, to answer the original question of where I place the blame, I'm basically with you guys on the 90-10. I would almost I'm only dropping it to 85-15 because the thing that I keep hearing about that I think is bothering me a little bit personnel wise and where the blame lies there is this whole like, why are you running man so much, etc. But let me tell you this. When they were playing zone against the Saints, good God, could our defense not get the zone reads? I mean, it was god awful. I was like, oh, see, this is the thing. They just can't play zone either. Like, and as far as I'm concerned, that also kind of kicks back onto the personnel a little bit. That's why I gave it that extra 5% because the zone defense against the Saints was atrocious, but I digress.
I mean, but don't just stop there. Most sports are about rhythm, right? Like Michael Jordan, Kobe Bryant, LeBron James. They don't just come out and be like, yeah, I'm not going to warm up before the game. I'm just going to come out because I'm Kobe, I'm Jordan, and I'm LeBron. I'm shooting these. Steph Curry ain't just out there doing these things. People don't just, like, go and look at Randy Moss. Go and look at Odell Beckham Jr. There's a reason why you see players out there on the field warming up to get the muscle memory of the stuff that they was doing. It takes rhythm. How the hell are you going to get rhythm and playing a defense? Huh?
Luke, this is a side note. Randy Moss, he didn't really warm up, man. This man, I specifically remember him making a video, and he was like, Randy Moss don't stretch on game day. Randy Moss was born ready. He came out the womb ready. And I was like, what the fuck?
Yeah, but the difference is this. The difference is this. If you go back to Randy Moss, if you go to Randy Moss, when Randy Moss was playing with Chris Carter, he warmed up. He had a routine. The biggest thing that they had to do, they worked on their hands and their grips and stuff like that. They got routines. All I'm pointing out is how can you get in rhythm for something you don't do often?
Hey, I mean, I feel you. That's actually a valid retort to me feeling like that zone situation just looked god awful. But I definitely understand where you're coming from. If that's not what you're used to and if that's not what you're practicing, then the result out on the field is probably going to look just as sloppy as it did. So I totally understand.
You got to remember, Kyler Murray is a second-year quarterback. He's not going to be able to. Well, him specifically, he's not going to be able to pick apart a zone like Drew Brees can. Like, especially with protection.
True.
So
That's true.
They're not gonna, like, the whole thing about a zone is for the quarterback to be able to literally pick apart the zone and throw through the lanes that are open. So that's, we seen Aaron Rodgers do it to us. So I get that, but end of the day, the players have failed. Besides, special teams, they're goats.
Yeah. Yeah, Jack Fox MVP for sure. He was like, didn't he win like NFC Player of the Month for the first, or NFC North Player of the Month for the first half or first quarter?
Yeah,
I don't
NFC, know. Yeah, special team, yeah.
Yeah. Well, that's there. So it's not all negative, right, you guys?
No, like he's a surprising bright spot. Like I'm very happy about him.
He definitely is. But we'll go ahead and move on to the next question. So Matthew Stafford has now been sacked 11 times through the past 3 games. You heard that right, 11 times. With whom do you place the blame for this by percentage out of 100 between the coaching, the offensive line, and Stafford himself? So you got to divide up that 100% between the coaching, offensive line, and Stafford himself. What do you think? I'll toss it to you first, Luke.
Oh, this is you having me too much fun today. Listen, first of all, coaching gets 20%. Yep, 20%. I've seen them make some dumb calls and not run the ball, and they deserve blame for that. There are situations where he should not be throwing. Now, Stafford. Y'all can judge me if you want to. 70% of it go on him. Yeah, 70%. 70% go on him. I've watched him. He put himself in sacks. I've seen him literally run into the sacker. Like he just, let me go ahead right here, see how you doing. Hey, how the kids? I've seen it. Right? So now obviously I'm 90%. Now I gotta figure out, does it boil down to the offensive line? 5%. 5% goes to the offensive line. Okay. And the other 5% just go to, the defense doing their damn job against us. But 70% go to Stafford. Not barely throwing the ball out of bounds, but thank God we got a 6'7" tight end. Oh, he can play. That bail him out. Right? Half the sacks that I've seen him have. I mean, yeah, I can argue the game where he's on the goal line against Green Bay, and I'm like, why are you calling a pass play there? True. Why is he stepping back? You should already know you ain't got no room to step back. And I ain't like the play call no way. But 70% go to Stafford, 20 go to the coach, 5 to the offensive line, 5 to the defense just being playmakers.
Okay. That's a great breakdown. Got a lot of people in the chat kind of echoing what you're saying. What do you think, Andrew? How are you breaking down that 100% between coaching, the offensive line, and Stafford himself?
Yeah. I mean, first off, I got to say, Luke, I think it's so funny you said that because from game one, I was like, what the hell is Stafford doing? I literally told everyone, and everyone gave me so much shit. They're like, bro, what? How are you going to say Stafford did this? Stafford did that? I'm like, he's walking into sacks. I saw this man literally get freaking sacked while our offensive lineman was literally holding the defensive lineman. Stafford got sacked by like 2 fingers. Like, come on, bro. Don't pull an Eli on me and just freaking drop to the ground. But, sorry, a little rant. I got to say 25% is coaching because some of the play calls are putting Stafford in bad situations, like the RPO, crap like that, just dumb. 50% I'm giving on Stafford. This man has literally ran into sacks, and he's leaving clean pockets. I have seen him so many times leave a clean pocket and just run out and get sacked or something. And I'm just like, what? Like, just stay in the freaking pocket until someone gets open. I'm going to throw another 25% at the O-line because there is sometimes where the O-line just misses their assignments. And then the remaining is going to be our offensive weapons. I know you didn't put this in the option, but there's a lot of times where our offensive playmakers are literally not getting any separation. Nobody's open out of 4 or 5 targets. And I'm like, well, I don't really blame Stafford because sometimes you can't just run because they have a quarterback spy or something. And then if no one's open, you're most likely going to take a sack unless you throw it away, which – yes, we all know this man should have thrown the ball away countless times in the last 4 weeks, but it's a little bit of everything.
Yeah, there's a whole mix of things going on out there. I just found, sacked 3 or 11 times for the past 3 games to be a wild stat. Although watching the games myself, and I'm breaking that down, for me, it's 80% to Stafford as well. I mean, one of the sacks last week that he walked right into, I thought that has got to be one of the dumbest decisions I have ever seen him make. I just got very, very, very confused.
Fact.
And he's taken at least 3 more that were no one's fault but his own this season. So I gotta give him this larger load, in my opinion. 10% to coaching because I think there's coaching in all of it, top to bottom. And And I put that 10% with the offensive line, but I'm really not going to hate because they've actually graded fairly well in pass protection this season overall. So I got to give them their 10% where the 10% is due. But what do you think, JMO? I mean, how are you breaking this down?
When I'm breaking it down, let's see. The O-line, I'll give them 25% of the blame because I've seen them miss assignments. That's why a sack has happened. A sack should never happen off of a misassignment pre-snap.
Yeah, but you probably see them missing assignments about as much as you've seen Bigfoot. It's rare. Let's be honest.
I mean, I've seen them miss more assignments this year than I had last year.
What?
J-Mo.
I don't know if you smoke. I don't know if you smoke or not. I don't know if you smoke or not. But if you do, when we get off the show, I need your supplier. I need your supplier, man.
Without even being sacked, man. What are you talking about? Like he was not. They wasn't getting sacking him off of missed assignments last year. What are you talking about? Anyway,
listen. My mama always told me. She always said, let people talk, because if you can't change their mind, ain't no point of even having the conversation. I ain't trying to change your mind. I know you love some Stafford, but 25%? Come on, bro.
Yes. Anyway, and then the coaching, definitely giving the coaching 50% of the blame because half of those sacks he shouldn't even be throwing the ball. And I still remember the Bears game where he took that sack and all we had to literally do is run the ball, kick a field goal, and win the game. So it's a lot of times where they get way too pass happy for me. Obviously, we have Stafford and all these receivers, so you want to pass the ball. But the coaching has put some people in some very precarious situations. You got Big V at right guard where she ain't played since high school, and now that's messing up the offense and people getting sacked. So I'm definitely putting that on the coaching.
He's played guard for the Eagles. That's not true. He's played guard for the Eagles. And I can show you the film on it.
He hadn't played guard. Hey, well, the Pride of Detroit said he hadn't played guard since high school.
So, okay, I'll show you film of him playing it for the Eagles a few times.
And I was
he's trash for the Lions at guard. But then like so he shouldn't be there in the first place. We paid him to be the right tackle.
The answer to your why they're throwing it when they shouldn't be on those plays is because they save all the running plays for when we're down 14 with 7 minutes left.
Yeah, exactly, man. That's crazy. And then 25% for Stafford.
Okay.
Oh, J-Mo throwing blame at Stafford? Oh my God! Check the temperature, man.
But can you elaborate on that 25%? I mean, what are you giving him that 25% for?
Just because you can't take I don't care if it's his fault or not. You can't take a sack on third down. Going back to the Bears game, you can't take a sack on third down where you're in field goal range to win the game, even if the play shouldn't be called. That's on you. And then I feel like in the Packers game, he took a sack that I felt like he shouldn't have took. Oh.
Okay. All right. Well, so we've got the breakdown of everybody and where they're putting the percentages as far as coaching Stafford and the offensive line itself. So move on to the next question. And this one I really like because I think it might be kind of hard for some of you guys and for some of you guys in the chat. So the hardest question of them all, despite all the lows, and there are many, this we know, what is your biggest silver lining or multiple silver linings for this Lions team so far this season? I'm going to start that with you, Luke.
The biggest silver lining for this team to me is knowing that I'm not going to have to see this next year. That's the biggest silver lining. I ain't going to have to worry about why Will Harris getting more snaps than Tracy Walker. No more of them days. No more of them days of asking where's our tight ends at. Nope. I ain't got to worry about that. No more I wonder why we not running the ball with a lead. Nope. I ain't got to worry about that. No more fans telling me he's changing the culture, man. It take at least 5 years to change the culture, man. 5 years max. You can't get rid of a coach after this long. We keep Coach carouseling. I ain't got to hear that no more. The silver lining for me is a peace of mind and the fact that this team will be better under some different management because it absolutely cannot get worse than this.
Okay, so your silver lining is not this season, it's beyond this season. That's what you're saying.
That's right. I know that everything I see right now, I will not see next season. Oh, it feels so good.
Okay, so I'll throw the question to you next, JMO. We know there are tons of lows. What is your biggest silver lining or multiple silver linings for this Lions team?
I'm sorry, I don't have any silver linings because I'm of the belief that if you can't win under Stafford, good luck. So, and once this gets blown up, we're gonna be in purgatory for the next 25 years. So there is no silver lining for a wasted career, just like Barry Sanders and Calvin Johnson. I'm sorry, there's nothing good about a season knowing we're gonna suck, and now we gotta rebuild a team that sucks at it. So that's just the way that I feel about it. Because I don't really Matt Patricia I just wish we fired him after the first game. That would be my silver lining. Would be it. The silver lining is he gonna be fired, maybe. So that's about it.
Okay.
We're about to lose another one of our Hall of Fame great players, and Lions fans just think we're gonna draft somebody and it's just gonna work out. Oh, good luck with that.
Man, y'all got me feeling sad. What about you, Andrew? Do you have anything to cheer us all up?
It's over. This is it. We're done.
So negative, dog. All right. The question, I get it. It's a bad time to be a Lions fan. When is a good time, right? But for me, some silver linings is we got some young playmakers. All right, we got DeAndre Swift, young, talented. You got Frank Ragnow, young, talented. Hopkinson, young, talented. Jonah Jackson. Hopefully Tracy Walker, if they don't do some crap like they did with all our other players that were stars. Danny Shellen, I still want to see what Okawara can do. Okuda was our first round pick. There's Penasini, so we have talent that is very young. If they're not freaking rookies, they're second year players or they're a couple years into the league, so they're still reaching their prime. So I feel like regardless of, how we're doing this season or whatever, we have a lot of playmakers that are very young and that are not on big contracts, so we have something to build off of.
Okay, and I'll echo you there because that was definitely part of my answer. And each game when I do my recap, I did not get to do a preview or recap this past week. I also do the highs and lows. It is super easy to roll through the lows, and I go through them really, really quickly because we all know that there's so many that I could probably make a 30-minute video each week just focusing on what they did wrong. But I also like to pick out the silver lining, some of the highs that I've seen. Ragnow's play at center has definitely been that. I mean, he's PFF's second highest graded center in the entire league. So you gotta give it to him there. That's a silver lining for me. And like you said, Andrew, rookie performances thus far of Penasini showing promise, Jackson and Jackson not being as sloppy as we kind of thought he might be coming in, and knowing how many penalties he drew at Ohio State. And definitely with you on TJ Hopkinson. I mean, as long as we get a coach in there that can play call for Hopkinson, I really think he's going to be like the up and coming George Kittle, Travis Kelce in the league. That's a silver lining for me. Another silver lining this season for me has been to honestly get to watch Adrian Peterson. He's got gas left in the tank. It's been entertaining for me to watch a legend come over in Honolulu blue and kind of show these young guys what it means to, I mean, not so much be elite anymore, but what it has been to be an elite running back in this league, and to kind of get to watch him out there. When you see him behind that line of scrimmage, my friends and I that watch the games are talking about, he just takes off different from the line. I mean, it's just fun to watch all around. The losing isn't, but Adrian Peterson
since
definitely
I did buy
is.
his jersey, I'm gonna have to agree with you just on that one because I did. It is the first Lion jersey I bought in a few years, so I guess I can give you Adrian Peterson. But I just want to say TJ Hockenson. I did the calculations. If he got did what he done in the first 4 weeks the whole season, he's at 730 and 8 touchdowns. So that's without being used. So
right.
That to me, that's just ridiculous because that's a solid season for a second-year tight end, and that's without being used. So.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, I on a day in and day out basis, week in and week out basis, I definitely see some highlights out there. And I forgot to say Jack Fox, silver lining for sure, all day. He's a great punter. We're very lucky that that's who came in to replace Sam Martin, who is doing significantly less well over there in Denver. So just some silver linings for you guys.
Oh, that's a silver lining. Then why don't you talk about how great Jonah Jackson is and how he better than Glasgow too? So
hey, you know what? Glasgow is awesome, and I wanted to keep him. That was one of my when we were doing the questions on biggest regrets or things that we wish that they didn't do. I really, really was pulling for them to re-sign Glasgow. I thought he deserved it. I thought that he was part of the gel that was holding our offensive line together. I feel like if he was out there now, maybe still with the rookie, we would look a little bit better. But then, you got Glasgow over in Denver, and poor Glasgow's got to lose in Denver too. Feel bad.
Yeah, Jones is a stud though. But I do agree. I don't know who would play tackle, but I would rather have him over Big V, Glasgow, and still have Jonah. But, I don't know who playing tackle though.
Yeah, I don't know.
Tyrell Crosby.
Hey, Tyrell has been just good enough not to be horrible. So
J-Mo's not complaining as long as it's not Kenny Wiggins.
Hey, and he ain't on the team, so it's you see how good the O-line look,
Hey, it's like you said, that's the one prediction that we're definitely nailing it with. And speaking of predictions, I don't know if anybody actually made this prior to the season, but if you look at the team run blocking grades through week 4 in the NFL, you've got Cleveland at number 1, New England at number 2, tie at 4th with Los Angeles and Tampa Bay, and Detroit is actually sitting at number 5, albeit a poor showing against the Saints. How does this bode for the Lions moving forward? I mean, what are your guys' thoughts on the Lions run blocking actually being top 5 in the NFL? I'll throw that to you first, Andrew.
Yeah, I mean, it's fantastic, but we're not utilizing it to the best abilities of our squad. I don't know. For me, you have the ability to run the ball. You run the ball in the fourth quarter. If you're going to run the ball, you run the ball throughout the entire game. You stay balanced. You keep the defense on their toes. You don't always run on first. You don't always run on second. I would love to see 3rd and short. We try running it. We literally it wasn't like a 4th down right by the goal line, and AP, they literally handed off to him. I was like, oh my God, we ran the ball on a crucial down. It was weird to see, but he friggin' scored a touchdown. I want to see them utilize the run. If our passing game, which has been awful this year, is not clicking, you need to utilize the run more to set up the pass. But they're doing it just freaking ass backwards, and it's making no sense. So it's nice to have. I just want to unleash it.
Yeah, absolutely. What about you, Luke? I mean, Detroit is sitting ranked number 5 in run blocking grades through week 4. What do you think that says for the Lions moving forward, and how does that make you feel?
Who gave the grade out?
That's actually from ESPN.
Okay. All right. So ESPN said we're rated 5. Well, I'm saying it's skewed. I'm gonna say it's skewed. Because we could be rated 5, but my issue is we don't run for real. So it's not
so where are they getting the statistic?
Yeah, it's not a high sample size to be like, yeah, they running that thing. I mean, seriously, yeah, they may be getting the runs in certain games, and certain games they may not. They certainly ran that thing against Arizona, but outside of Arizona, they gave up on the run early on against the Bears. And to me, I don't want to give a grade because that's such a small win. I think overall, anybody who's watching the game can tell that they're doing a good job in blocking, which is one of the reasons why I put a high percentage on Stafford. They're doing their job. He's getting clean pockets. They're getting running lanes, Kerryon was having a CJ Anderson moment, not knowing where the hole was at. And Adrian Peterson is doing his best to cut in and out. But overall, I think that might be a misleading stat. Because I bet you if you look at that stat and compare it to rushing attempts with the teams who really are rushing the ball, we ain't looking that good. I can feel it in my spirit without even looking at it. We ain't doing that good.
I think I would definitely guess that stat is heavily skewed towards week 1, where we had Adrian Peterson with 96 yards or so, and a couple other running backs with some yardage out there as well. But I mean, I think another great question to answer this question is, if that stat is real, why doesn't somebody show it to the coaches? Because when the run seems to be working, we move away from it.
Facts. That's what I understand. Like, I don't get it.
Yeah, but I mean, still to be said, they've got us up there at number 5 in a run blocking grade. What does that mean to you, JMO, and how do you think that bodes for us moving forward?
Bob Quinn, I feel sorry for you because you know how to do some things right, but you brought in an idiot, so you have to go. I mean, he built this O-line finally. I never actually thought it was going to happen, and we lost Glasgow, and I thought it would be tougher, but this O-line is great. Like, I think, I don't know, man. Maybe I'm drinking too much Kool-Aid this year, but Jonah might be the best O-lineman in the first year we've had in, a long time, and I'm including Ragnow and everybody. But I might be drinking Kool-Aid, but I'm surprised he's that good that early. And Joe Dahl is a monster. I remember I was making videos hyping up Joe Dahl because he was such a hard worker. He's a guy who a lot of blue collar people can relate to because he worked hard to be where he is. It wasn't nothing was given. He wasn't the most talented guy, and he turned into a demonstrative run blocker. We did lose him early, but he definitely helped with that. But I'm with Andrew. We don't use it enough. To see Swift chop the Saints up in the same way Kamara was doing us, and Swift only had 4 carries, that hurts. Like, he had 4 carries for 22 yards, 5.5 yards a carry, and then they couldn't cover him. So we don't run the football enough that much. So I think it's more of off of an efficiency standpoint is what they're looking at, which is why we're ranked so high, because it isn't off of attempts, because we don't run the football enough to really even be ranked like that. But it's a good stat. It's just something that we've seen consistently. With this team this year, you've seen them run block extremely well. And there's been holes for the running backs.
Right. I mean, hopefully moving forward, we can utilize that to our advantage a little bit better. But I don't know. We'll have to see. You guys in the chat, please start posting your questions for the panel so that we can get to some of those. We are keeping the show a little bit shorter and sweeter tonight. I scrolled up because I did like a question from the general view. He said, I was listening to the POD podcast earlier, and they were talking about the head coach potential of Braden Coombs. What are your thoughts? So I kind of wanted to open that up to you guys to get your thoughts, because I think this is a really good question. I've actually heard Coombs' name tossed around a little bit as well. Go ahead, JMO. You can start.
My thoughts are simple. That's why I want to go first. My thoughts is Jim Harbaugh. That's all I have to say.
Okay.
It ain't Jim and Harbaugh or somebody more qualified. Nope. Jim Harbaugh.
Where is Braden Coombs right now?
He's our special teams coordinator.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, he'll probably get a head coaching job someday, though, in the future. I do think he will, but Jim Harbaugh.
Yeah, okay. I mean, this ain't no John Harbaugh situation where you're gonna go from special teams to head coach and make it the Super Bowl. I don't know about.
I think, if I'm not mistaken, what I've heard why some people kind of like the idea is because he is young, but he's been around the league for quite a while, seems to have put together some awesome special teams units, and that they see him kind of progressing naturally, whether it be with us or through somewhere else in the league, to a head coaching position. That's kind of what I've heard.
My question is, what's his resume like? Has he been a DB's coach? Like, I need to know what units he was working with. How good were those units? His special teams is great, but like, are you a leader in men? Like, those are things that I need to pick up on to bring, like he's the typical young hotshot guy that's been great for a long time. His special teams was the best in the league last year, and I was like, why did we go get him? Or our special teams was 6th. Now I see why. So I just feel like I don't want to be, the team that he has to prove himself on. Let him go somewhere else. But
Okay. What about you, Luke? Do you know any more about him that would make you think he might be a good potential candidate for head coach?
I know. First of all, let me just tell you, I always say do your research, so I quickly ran. I wanted to kind of see what his coaching tree looked like. In Cincinnati, he was 2009. He was a coach intern. Okay. Cincinnati Bengals again, 2010 to 2011, coaching assistant. Still ain't did nothing. Cincinnati Bengals, 2012, 2018, assistant special teams coach and quality control coach. And then obviously, 2019, he's with the Bengals as the assistant special teams coach, and then he's now with us. People, let me tell y'all something. When you are sick of getting the same result, you will do something different. And as far as I'm concerned, anybody who does not have a pedigree or a history or a prior experience building and implementing a program and a downtrodden, bottom-feeding hashtag, we ain't going to be the best of the best in the NFC North team, no. We have tried this already. We are on our 16th coach right now as we speak, and of the 16, only 3 had prior NFL head coaching experience. Enough of this. We are not doing this trying to find the next. You trust the Lions to find the next great head coach within his own ranks? I don't. Hell, Bill Belichick was on the Lions staff. He's now the head coach of the New England Patriots. No, I need somebody with a proven track record. And as far as I'm concerned, this simply boils down to this following. Is he better than Jim Harbaugh? No. Is he better than David Shaw? No. He's not better than Jason Garrett. So as far as I'm concerned, I pass on that.
Okay.
You had to throw Jason Garrett in there.
Sometimes you got to drive home the point. Like if somebody else want to risk that and take that chance, by all means, do it. But the Lions, no.
I just don't know why you don't call Jim Harbaugh and say, come be the coach. Here's, it ain't my money, of course, but here's 70 million, 50 million. And just give them time, because when I look at Gruden with the Raiders, it's been a rough road, but they definitely going in the right direction. So we just got to give it time. Yeah, they gave him 100 million, but that's.
And you talking giving Harbaugh 70 or 50? So you been cheap. You playing too much.
Hey man,
stop playing. You been cheap.
Smart out here, man. I'm gonna be like, hey, you ain't John Gruden, dog. How many Super Bowls you won? And he gonna be like, but why you gotta do me like that?
Listen, but John Gruden, and listen, I'm a Bucs fan too. John Gruden only won because he knew all the plays. We know
why he won. We know why he won. I'm just
saying. But listen, real talk though. Real talk. I gotta say this really quick. There's been over 35 people in the chat. There's 25 thumbs up. Can we get that up? If you have not hit that like button, please do so right now. It helps build her channel. It helps give support to the DSA. And I'm telling you, this is the queen of the den. Y'all got to show some respect when the queen in the building. Okay? Get them likes up, people. Get them likes up.
You guys, I have to laugh because my dad says if we get Harbaugh, we'll never beat the Browns or Bengals. And that's because he can't beat anybody from Ohio State.
This is true.
I like how he did that. Hey, listen, we gotta give your dad an umbrella for all the shade he putting out here right now. Listen, we got enough shade going on. We need some sunlight. Don't take our joy away, okay? We need all the hope we can get. If a Care Bear come up and he qualified, I'm taking him. You're not gonna steal that from me, okay?
I told him when I was talking about it the other day, I said I would take him to the Lions just to get him out of Michigan, not because I don't think he's a good coach, because I think he was a better NFL coach than he's been a college coach to this extent, because he can't beat Ohio State and we always lose one other conference game. But I digress. Anyways.
You don't got a quarterback, man. And college is all about recruiting, and you haven't been able to recruit a quarterback.
He's supposed to be the quarterback guru. He probably be the quarterback guru.
You're not beating out. You're not winning the Big Ten without no quarterback.
It's just God, I hope we get one soon. Then, whether they keep him or not.
But
let's go to our next question.
It's go green, go white over here with me. So listen, as long as y'all suck, I'm happy. You know, it is.
I mean, y'all worse right now, so it's cool.
I mean, all we did is the same thing y'all did. We moved on from our head coach, and it's trying to find ourselves. Don't let me remind you of the Brady Hoke era. Okay, okay.
All right, you guys. Motor City Thanos had another question. He says, who do we beat to get our next win? We're going to go real quick. I say Jacksonville right after the bye. What do you think, Andrew?
Yes, ma'am.
Luke?
Oh, my God. Oh, God. Pass. I got nothing. I don't feel confident about any of these games.
Okay.
I got nothing.
Luke is passing. What about you, J-Mo?
It better be Jacksonville.
Exactly. That's my answer, too. All right, Ramon. It better be.
Right, it better be.
Yeah, it better be. I'm going to be there screaming, and they'll hear me, even from the nosebleeds. Those tickets are really cheap right now.
I'm low-key ready for us to lose to Jacksonville so I can go off like week 1. Like, just give me the fuel I need. Like, because I swear.
Oh, man. All right. Y'all are crazy. Ramon the New Age says, would any of y'all trade for Dwayne Haskins? Trade Carry-On, maybe? I'm going to throw that to you, J-Mo, because I know Carry-On was your guy.
I'm glad you threw it to me. Why do Lions fans want to get every trash young quarterback in the league? No, I don't want Dwayne Haskins. I don't want Josh Rosen. When Sam Darnold loses his starting job, I don't want Sam Darnold. I don't want Baker Mayfield. I don't want none of these trash young quarterbacks. Why do y'all think if we get these trash young quarterbacks, and I love Dwayne, man, but why do you think they're going to be good here? Like, give me a young quarterback with some promise. It's not really that many of them that's sitting on the bench, so I'm completely good on. No, I don't want Dwayne Haskins. You can't start for Washington, bro. Washington, like, come on, man.
Yeah, see, I hate to say this because I've been a really big Carry-On fan too. I would trade him for maybe like a bigger impact defensive player or a young defensive player, something like that. For me with Dwayne Haskins, you might as well just see who you're getting in the draft, honestly. And
you might as well keep David Blau. Like,
and it depends on who our next head coach is, because we don't have the coaching staff right now for me to think we need a younger, like, developing quarterback, because I don't know how they're going to coach him up, and I don't know what our next coaching staff's going to look like. What do you think, Andrew?
I could not get paid enough to take Haskins. I literally, if they were like, I'll offer you $50 million and Terry McLaurin, I'd be like, nah, bro, you tripping. Like, Haskins is by far.
You better than me. You can buy me. You can buy me $50 million right now. He's sold. What you talking about?
Yeah, I'm like, I don't know, Andrew. That's pretty.
Not me specifically, but the team. You know what I'm saying? But like, Dwayne Haskins is literally just as bad as Trubisky, if not worse. I have watched this man play. I said coming out of the draft, he's going to be a huge bust, which he is. He has so much talent around him and at the wide receiver position, and this man can't hit oh my God. I literally, he could not throw the ball to an open receiver if he had to, if his life depended on it. I've seen so many times where the wide receiver has 15, I'm not even exaggerating, 15 yards of separation, and he misses the throw in a clean pocket. What the hell kind of quarterback in the league misses a throw in the clean pocket with that much separation? So I'm telling you right now, you could not pay the organization enough to take him off your hands, let alone trade the Washington Redskins someone. Like, nah.
My thing is, why would the Lions fans want all of these young quarterbacks that don't got no promise? Like I'm like him, and the same thing with Josh Rosen. I'm like, you see something in Josh Rosen? Like, why would you want him on the squad? I seen Broken Lion said he would take Daniel Jones. I think he's staying in New York, but I would take Daniel Jones as a backup.
That's a little bit different.
In New York.
Listen, I'm telling you, we'll have Ryan Fitzpatrick as a backup quarterback soon. So,
hey man, if Fitzmagic can win some games, give him some weapons.
I love Fitzpatrick. So,
hey, I do too, dog.
What about you, Luke? Would you trade for Dwayne Haskins?
Hell no. To the no. Seriously, I wouldn't. I really wouldn't. To be honest with you, there's 3 reasons why. One, if you're going to go in a different direction with a quarterback, why are you trying to trade for the quarterback right now? And if you're talking about getting a quarterback after you get a new head coach and his decision is Dwayne Haskins, then why do we hire him? So he needs to not be here. The second part of it is this. I heard this question asked on 97.1 The Ticket this morning. And I was thinking to myself, this is the stupidest thing I ever heard. Like, listen, if you was going to take Dwayne Haskins, you should have took him when you was going to take him. Let him sit behind Stafford and be groomed. Like, seriously. I said, but the truth is why would you even trade for this quarterback when you're coming into a year where there's going to be at least 6 quarterbacks coming out that I feel pretty good about? And on top of that, would I trade Kerryon Johnson? Yes, because he may be hurt by the second quarter of the next game, and his health has been an issue. So yeah, trading that one guy, absolutely. But outside of that, I mean, make no mistake, it can't happen.
I was going to add, I 100% believe it's not going to happen because the Eagles don't trust Carson Wentz, but would you trade for Jalen Hurts?
Listen, I'm going to say this again, people. All right, y'all, listen. Hell no. Listen, no. We're not doing this. You're going to be in a position somewhere. You're going to be in the top 10 somewhere in the draft. Like somewhere in the top 10, right? And to me, you can still get a good quarterback in the top 10 of the draft. It may not be Trevor Lawrence. It may not be Fields. It may be. You never know. But right now, I look at all the teams who need quarterbacks. Are the Giants going to get lowly enough to get another quarterback and say forget Daniel Jones? No. Like who we gotta get? Like, look at the teams who need quarterback and ask yourself, what are the chances that they get in a position to get it, or that they're in a position where they don't want to take one of these high-profile left tackles or defensive players, and you can still get to trade up to get it. Just relax and chill. Let your new head coach have it his way, and wait for the results.
Okay, fair enough. Next question for the panel. It's from Devin99. He says, how would you guys feel if we took a defensive player in the first round, then take Miami's quarterback Derek King in the second round? He reminds me of Lamar Jackson and Kyler Murray. I don't know enough about Miami's quarterback to really answer that question, but I'll throw it to you, Luke. I feel like you might know a little bit more about this than I do.
I watched a few games of him, but most of the stuff that I've watched of him is that he's such a system quarterback and it's tailored in such a way that it works. Lamar Jackson has weapons around him, and you're going to have to surround him with similar weapons that play to his strength. Right now, our offensive line is designed for a quarterback who has somewhat mobility or can have mobility, but they don't got time for a guy who's going to be taking off a whole lot and running around. I would say no. I would say no on that particular quarterback because I think there'll be some better options, and I think he might be an underclassman if I'm not mistaken. I think he might not even be eligible. I could be wrong, but I would pass on that if it was me.
Okay. Does anybody else on the panel know enough about Derek King and enough to feel one way or the other about this question?
Well, I don't know much about him, but I'll say this. I'm taking a defensive player in the first round regardless. Because no matter what quarterback you get, we need defensive talent, and you can still get a great quarterback in round 2.
Okay, Andrew?
I don't know crap about this quarterback, and I don't care to know anything about this quarterback. Because if we take a quarterback, you're going to see me go off on a rant that's going to last at least an hour. I don't care. I don't understand why everyone's like, you have to draft a quarterback. You don't have to draft a quarterback, okay? We're not in this situation to plug in a quarterback and go to the playoffs. I don't understand why even waste the pick. Just because he's young? That's dumb. I hate David Blau. I would literally rather take David Blau and invest that second-round pick in a defensive player or a skill player or something. Until you have a competent defense, I don't care if you have Mahomes at quarterback. I don't care if you have Lamar, Aaron Rodgers. I don't care who you have at quarterback. They're not doing crap. So don't even waste a pick on it. Like
all I said is I would build around David Blau. I got laughed at and was told that I hope you bullying. But you know what? I'm gonna be quiet. This is what happens when you don't prepare for the future.
That leads into OMG It's Lions Talks question, which I kind of already have my answer ready. So it says, do you guys regret not going after a quarterback in the draft? Because now, instead of a guy getting a season to groom, he's going to more than likely be thrown into the fire. And my answer to that is no, I still don't regret it, because realistically speaking, most of these rookies come out and get thrown into the fire. I mean, that's just what happens. Like,
Right.
It's nice to be able to say, hey, we were so forward thinking that we had Brett Favre and we took Aaron Rodgers, and he had years to sit underneath him, and that's all well and fine, but realistically, most of these teams, I mean, Daniel Jones, I'm having a brain fart, the Bills, Josh Allen, like these guys, they're getting out there and they're getting thrown into the fire, and they either sink or swim, and it is what it is. So no, I do not regret not going after a quarterback in the draft.
I second that.
Okay, what about you, JMO?
Yeah, I'm with you. I was just gonna say, look at Joe Burrow. Talk about being thrown into the fire. Like, he got thrown into like parts of hell over
Absolutely.
there. So, Joe Burrow and Sam Darnold have had the Matthew Stafford experience, sadly. Starting off, but like they just been thrown right into it. And it's like this what I don't get. Why do people act like we can't just get a quarterback when we need a quarterback? Like, it's not something that's hard. This team needs a quarterback this year. They're going to get one. I mean, that's all we have to do. It's not something that has to be that deep. When we need another quarterback to take the reins, we're going to draft one.
I mean, but I can say this. I can understand some people's thought process. Like, if it's going to take a Kuda 2 or 3 years to develop, why not just take the quarterback instead of him? And to be honest with you, I probably can even see their point, a lot of it. But I felt like I said it before, that Bob Quinn went against his own damn game plan. I stand by that. He had a very simple formula that was very easy to crack, and he decided to change it up. This is the first time they've been able to predict his draft pick. And so at the end of the day, yeah, I can see why some people would feel like, yeah, we should have took a quarterback. That was another thing I heard on 97.1 The Ticket, and I thought was whatever. Like, hey, we needed defensive help. But not as this bad. We needed it in a different position.
Okay. What about you, Andrew? What do you think? Do you regret not going after a quarterback in the draft?
No. I mean, I will not take I don't want us to take a quarterback until we have a competent defense. So there's that. But the second part of that kind of baffles me, because not every quarterback needs to sit. Yeah, I worked for Aaron Rodgers. Yeah, I worked for Patrick Mahomes, whatever. There's a couple quarterbacks that sat behind a good or an above average quarterback, and they learned a little bit. But like, what about Andrew Luck? Who did he sit behind? What about friggin' Drew Brees? What about Peyton Manning? What about all these other quarterbacks that really didn't have anyone to sit behind, and they literally started like day one? You know what I'm saying? And they weren't necessarily on the greatest team or in the greatest situation, and they balled out. So I don't think you have to just have you don't have to draft a quarterback and have them sit. Yeah, Tua was sitting behind Ryan Fitzpatrick. Is he the greatest person to groom behind? No, but like, you don't need that. Justin Herbert was behind Tyrod Taylor. Justin Herbert is balling out. Like, I don't understand why people think quarterbacks have to sit. It's not the case, so I don't know.
Yeah, and I mean, Joe Burrow seems like he's in the type of situation where, I mean, watching him play, I have no doubt in my mind he's probably going to be a great quarterback in this league, and he's just out there. He's going to lose for a while in Cincinnati, but that's just the name of the game. Let's see.
And sorry, I just want to respond to that. So OMG is like, you trust us to draft a Luck or a Breeze or something, and it's not about that. The good teams in the NFL don't need an above average quarterback. Look at San Francisco. Jimmy Garoppolo ain't shit, and they went to Super Bowl. Joe Flacco wasn't shit. They went to Super Bowl. Nick Foles. You see where I'm going with this? You don't need
Trent Dilfer. Keep going.
Quarterback.
Keep going. Rex Grossman. Keep going.
Look, I'm not that old. I can't go that far back. But look,
I'm just saying. Jake DeLong. I mean,
Flacco was inhuman, though.
look, the common theme is all of those teams had elite level defenses. They all had run games, and they all had playmakers and good coaching. None of them had an elite level quarterback. So we don't need to draft a Luck. We don't need to draft a Breeze. We need to freaking get a team that is competent enough to where we plug in an average to above average quarterback and we can win games. Look what the Broncos did with a freaking just beaten down old man in Peyton Manning. They went to Super Bowl and friggin' won because their defense was so dominant. Their wide receivers were so dominant, and they had a run game and good coaching. So I don't think we need a quarterback. I don't want to draft a quarterback. If once Stafford leaves or he retires, whatever, if we take a quarterback right after that, that would be the dumbest freaking thing and such a waste of a pick, because no matter what quarterback you put in this situation, they're going to fail. They're going to fail. If Stafford throwing 5,000 freaking yards and all this stuff can't be successful, what is this next person supposed to do that he didn't? Is he supposed to score 40 points a game to, counter the fact that our defense is letting up 35 points? No, it's not going to happen.
Lions fans are under this impression that once Stafford is gone, we're going to draft a quarterback with Mahomes' arm and Lamar Jackson's legs. Like, that's what they think is going to happen.
Or J-Mo, take it a step further. Take it a step further now.
No, I told people that if the only chance we have is getting Trevor Lawrence, because I do think he is a generational talent enough like Stafford to maybe he can save us, but I know we're not getting him. And if we ain't getting him, it's done. Like, y'all want them to draft the perfect quarterback. It just don't work like that. And when Valerie said something hilarious when she was on the show, she's like, we never really had a quarterback. And I thought about it. I'm like, they've never had a quarterback.
And been to Super Bowl twice. Rex Grossman.
It's about building, it's just great.
And the reality is,
Stafford is definitely a generational talent, Ramon, a new age. You got to stop, bro.
But the reality is this. The reality is most of those people who, this idea that do you trust them to draft this type of quarterback is laughable, because most of the people who draft the quarterback that they drafted them and based on fortune and based on the right situation. Like, for example, if Patrick Mahomes go anywhere else but Kansas City, we're not talking about him like this. I guarantee you that. He came to a team that was ready to go. All you had to do is not amp it up.
It's true. They were winning 11 games a season. They were literally winning 11 games a season.
Yeah, with Alex Smith. And then you go to people like Andrew Luck. They had already begun the process to build up a team before they even got a chance to take him by adding defensive and offensive players. So these teams were already set up in it. The Lions, oddly enough, and the one thing I got to give Bob Quinn credit for, has built the offensive line. We just got to get somebody who can put that quarterback in the best situation and have him succeed. The same thing with Justin Herbert. They took a number of draft picks and got rid of a bunch of people, but added a bunch of people. And Justin Herbert just had to not mess it up. Just saying.
No, it's very true. There's a couple good questions left in the chat, but let's rapid fire them. I'm just going to throw them to one person. There's only this first one I do want to throw to everybody because Dolo Dynamite asked it a bit ago. And then we're going to rapid fire through a couple more before wrapping up. He says, panel, out of the current coaching staff, who would you keep? What do you think, Andrew?
Braden Combs, our special teams coordinator. I mean, our special teams has been really good for a couple of years. And then Bevel, if he gets his head out of his ass and, calls plays like he did last year.
Okay. I'm with you. Braden was like the first person that I thought of, but
I think that's a census.
Yeah. I'm also kind of on the page though, of if you're blowing it up, like let the new head coach have the staff that he wants and just blow it up. I mean, I don't know.
Listen, the new head coach, think about this. If you are bringing in a Jim Harbaugh, who everybody seems to want, you're not going to tell him you're keeping Braden Combs, you're keeping Darrell Bevel. You're not telling him that because he's not taking the job. Period. So just make sure you be careful what you ask for, and they seem to listen to what you ask for.
Yep. All right. So we're going to rapid fire through this first one. J-Mo, who do you think gets more hate from their fan base, Harbaugh or Patricia?
Patricia. We go in on Harbaugh, but it's because we can't be Ohio State. Patricia is a different level. It's a different level. I just think it's a different level. But we do hate us some Harbaugh.
Absolutely. I know Stafford has not played well this season, says the great one, Mike, but do you think he's forcing things because he's fed up with the coaching and defense, Andrew?
I don't necessarily know it's because he's fed up, because I've never seen Stafford do the crap he's doing this year, but he's definitely either lost his touch or he's just in his own head. Something's wrong there, because this man doesn't make the mistakes that he's doing. He's never had a clean pocket and literally run into a sack. You know what I'm saying? So something's wrong. I don't know if it's fed up or not, but something's definitely wrong.
We can all agree there. Shad 216JF says, would a mobile quarterback help the Lions or make them worse? What do you think, Luke?
All right, listen, I know y'all gonna judge me. How mobile we talking? Like, are we talking like Aaron Rodgers mobile or like Lamar Jackson mobile? Like if we talking like,
I think they're talking about a quarterback you can do RPOs with, so not an Aaron Rodgers.
I mean,
like
I don't know.
I think
they're just saying like Trubisky kind of mobile is what I think they're going for.
Yeah, I think the faster they are with their legs, the more liability they are, because I've seen too often those mobile quarterbacks take off and run rather than scan the field. Patrick Mahomes can run, but guess what? He rather throw the ball. I'd rather see that. Russell Wilson can run, but guess what? He'd rather throw the ball. I'd rather see that. So if you're telling me they got that kind of mobility, yeah, that helps. If they're Lamar Jackson, I've seen Lamar Jackson leave a clean pocket. Like, bruh, where you going? Where are you going? He's open. You just gonna take. I've seen Michael Vick just be like, forget you up and down the field. I don't want to. I want to show you with my feet. I've seen it. So, yeah, how mobile we talking is how I can define it. You telling me Russell Wilson, Patrick Mahomes mobile? It helps. You telling me Lamar Jackson mobile? Yeah, it hurts, because he's gonna trust on his legs too much.
Okay. I'm looking for the last question that I saw. Okay. Would the defense still be bad if we had kept Slay instead of signing Trufant and having Slay mentor Okuda? I'll take that one. Yes, they would still be bad. I mean, there's just so much more wrong. There's just so much more wrong than Okuda, needing to develop, and Slay wouldn't. In Okuda's first year, the difference that Slay would have made mentoring him is not going to show up anyways. We would still see every issue that we're seeing out there right now, and we would still be playing this season just with the defensive scheme that is not working. So I don't think that was going to make a difference, unfortunately. A lot of people on this panel were big Slay fans, as much as a lot of us probably would want to say it would have made a difference. It wouldn't have. It just wouldn't have.
Yeah, the only way it would have made a difference is if Slay was in his best season ever, but he's not. So that's about it.
Yeah, and maybe the rookie's trying to hold his own, but
this being his best season, it still wouldn't matter.
I think we would get. I think he would have got a turnover from Breeze. I ain't saying we would have won, but I think he would have got another turnover from Breeze.
Listen, people. Listen, I want y'all to understand something. The best cornerback to ever play this game is arguable. Some people say it's Charles Wilson. Some people say it's Deion Sanders. Some people say it's Darrelle Revis. Some people say it's Charles Tillman. The reality is those guys performed because there was 7 guys in front of them that balled out. It helps. Yeah, they can only do so much by themselves. Go talk to Patrick Peterson. Why he be getting frustrated and was ready to get traded. Because ain't no pass rush getting home. It's just the reality is we could have had the greatest secondary of all time and we still not getting home with pass rush, so it don't matter.
Yeah, absolutely. So a lot of great questions in the chat tonight. Thank you so much, guys. With that, I think we're just going to move into our final thoughts for the evening. So I will go ahead and let Andrew start us off.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. I like talking about quarterbacks. all I got to say, guys, is it's a bye week. Take the week to just enjoy some football games and not have to worry about the Lions.
Very true. Good advice. What about you, J-Mo? What are your final thoughts for everybody?
Well, I've already lost my mind, but thank Kenny Galladay. Fire Matt Patricia. Like, the simple things, but it was fun tonight. And I'm with Andrew. We don't have to worry about the Lions losing this week. We can worry about them losing next week. But it's all good. It was fun. And I just want to say, Sheila, it's time for you to show us something. Patricia should not be here. Like, I want him fired now, but if you want to do what Rachel said and wait till we lose to Jacksonville, cool. But after Jacksonville and Atlanta, man, he should, I ain't giving you no out. Fire this man now. I tried to give her out. Fire this man now. That's all I got to say. I'm glad to be on here with you guys. And I do want to say one thing. Give DeAndre Swift. Give DeAndre Swift the ball, please. I need to see him make some plays.
Absolutely. I'll go ahead next. Thank you guys so much for joining us in the chat, and as always, the panel for being here. It's been a minute since I've been able to be on, let alone host, and it's always fun to talk some football with you guys. We had a lot of different topics tonight, a lot of lows, but we also touched on some good stuff too. And at the end of the day, we love football. We love watching football, so we're always going to be here talking football. And if you guys love talking football too, as always, make sure that you are subscribed to everybody on the panel, everybody in our featured channels. They're all putting out a ton of stuff during the season. Interact with them. Make sure you're liking and commenting on their videos and helping to grow the Detroit Sports Alliance. We appreciate you guys so much joining us every week. Keep your head up. It is bye week. I did see somebody tweeted, who you got, the bye week or the Lions? And somebody said, well, I don't know, the bye week has better coaching, and that just gave me a little giggle. So take that with you guys into the weekend. Go get some brunch, hug on your families, watch some other teams lose, and laugh. I don't know. And as always, one pride. Luke, you can take us out.
Listen, again, awesome show. So happy that Rachel was able to host it. So thank you. Happy that J-Mo was in the building. Andrew was in the building. Happy Kirk came through the building, but then had to bounce back out. We appreciate that support. That phantom love was felt. It was felt. My positive quote goes like this today. It comes from one Mr. John Wick, people. He's having a conversation as he talks to the people and who's trying to negotiate after his dog has been harmed. And he tells them, I should thank you for the pain. It made me upgrade myself. He says, now the only question is, who is going to let me? The question is, who is going to stop me? People, John Wick was trying to let y'all know that limitations are a nagging evil, a disgusting evil that you should never have. Do not limit yourself on what somebody is saying. If they are in your way, go through them. Then go back, lift them back up, and tell them, hey, wasn't personal. I had to do this. Be thankful for the pain that you felt, because that made you strong enough to fight through the storm. Do not get lost in all the bad things that happen. Celebrate the small victories. That leads to the bigger win in the war. These are just simple ways of life to look at. And John Wick himself made it very clear that the question isn't who's going to let me, it's who's going to stop me, because I thank you for the pain. Ladies and gentlemen, with that being said, please make sure that you hit that like, subscribe button. Make sure that you subscribe to all the members of the DSA. And as always, don't be no chump. Please do your research.